Terry, Magic Mechanic here for Napa Auto Parts. Dad taught you lots of things. Things Mom probably didn't want you to know. Don't repay that kindness with something like a tie. That's the gift that says, hey, Dad, I noticed you have a neck. Let's fix Father's Day with a gift like a half-inch heavy-duty impact wrench for $79, or a 30-piece socket set in SAE and metric for $17.99.
You know, you're over a wall.
Yeah.
You're not the first person that's done that.
Um, 455-9797. This is The Dana Show.
DanaRadio.com. Find me on Twitter at DLash as well. So it's almost, because we only have a couple of minutes left, so it's probably time to start working into today's stupidity, but a number of things to get into tomorrow as well, because we just simply ran out of time. The president said that he
was saying that on that day, where was the king? At a horse show in England. Now, if that's a sign of respect, we've got problems.
I would think so, too. But the president was lamenting to the Southeastern leadership group that sometimes he's been criticized for no apparent reason.
As I always point out, democracy is hard. I think that many of the things that are said about me are terribly unfair. But the reason American democracy has survived so long is because people, even if they're wrong, have a right to say what they think. Yeah, George Washington, our first president, he complained terribly about some of the foolishness that was said about him.
The president goes on to say, still, he said, it's important for America to realize we are not perfect either. So we have to make sure we are constantly seeing how we improve our democracy. The amounts of money, for example, that are involved in our election these days is disturbing. I agree with that. But the president honestly believes, and he revealed himself right there, that when you criticize him, you're wrong, but he'll have to take it anyway. This is perhaps the president's most outrageous statement. Cut through.
One of my core principles is that I will never engage in a politics in which I'm trying to divide people or make them less than me because they look different or have a different religion. That's a core principle. That's not something I would violate.
But if they're a different party, no problem. By the way, he just vilified and minimized Senator Elizabeth Warren by saying, well, you know, she's a politician like everybody else. That's fair. Remember the first thing he said to Eric Cantor when he brought up a suggestion when they met and had a bipartisan meeting in the Oval Office after he won the election. He said, Eric, elections have consequences. We won. You're not trying to divide people there? What about the war on women? Were you dividing people there? And do you think that was really accurate, that Republicans don't like women? The thing is, he says it so convincingly and so congenially, people buy it. And I could see him leaving with the same ratings as Bill Clinton. Even though Clinton had a better economic record and had peace, it was a cauldron. Things were about to explode with the dot-com bubble about to burst, with Al-Qaeda about to strike. The president gives us, with the Attorney General next to him on Friday, says, yeah, you didn't pass this Patriot Act. Now, I know sometimes when the president gets involved, it brings up more negativity than positivity, but you don't hear anything about working the phones behind the scenes, using Democratic leadership or calling Mitch McConnell because they agree on this like they do trade and saying, I could really use some help. So here's Senator Rand Paul, who first, with Bill Hemmer, had a mini apology because he came out and said that there are people rooting for an attack so they can blame him. Cut 11.
People here in town think I'm making a huge mistake. Some of them, I think, secretly want there to be an attack on the United States so they can blame it on me. I think sometimes in the heat of battle, hyperbole can get the better of anyone, and that may be the problem there. The point I was trying to make is that I think people do use fear to try to get us to give up our liberty.
But do you take back that statement you just said when I think some secretly want there to be an attack on the United States so they can blame you?
I think sometimes going after people's motives and impugning people's motives is a mistake. And in the heat of battle, I think sometimes hyperbole can get the better of all of us.
So are you standing by that or not? I'm just trying to nail that down. Do you retract that?
I think by calling it hyperbole, that means that I may well have exaggerated the case.
Okay,
and I think that,
let's move on.
I think,
now.
right? Yeah.
A little bit testy there again. A little bit testy. I said hyperbole. Why are you making me go directly and apologize? Senator Rick Santorum joined us 24 hours ago and said this about the whole holdup and Patriot Act, cut 13.
You know, Grant, this is not about you. I mean, I know some people get in politics and they get full of all the press clippings they get, but this is not about one person. This is about what is in the best interest of our country, and we have far too many politicians in Washington who think everything's about them. And I can tell you, I get it. I know you get all this media chasing you around. You think you're really important. You think you're the center of attention. But the bottom line is, this is about the national security of our country. This is about men and women who have fought and died to keep our country safe.
Exactly.
No, you're going to have to get in the car.
Yesterday, a couple of days
You're going to have to get in the car.
Right in the middle of the pack.
That way you can hit the brakes.
Place I think he has to win. 1-866-408-7669. We're talking about security. I'll talk about 2016, Hillary Clinton's press corps getting together. They've reached the breaking point, and I don't blame them. They got to force her to start speaking, or they might as well do something else. Can you imagine just walking around following a woman who won't talk to you for 3.5 weeks? That's exactly what's happening. The TSA, a total waste of time. You have to relate to that and feel my anger. And America's global prestige growing. Sadly, I think the study is not worth the paper it's written on. But your thoughts next.
It's Gillian and Friends on Fox News Talk. The three big things you need to know. One, the IRS chief on Capitol Hill today says cyber criminals tried to file fake IRS refunds for more than 200,000 Americans this past tax season. Boston police say the man shot and killed by officers this morning was the subject of a terror investigation. Commissioner William Evans says an FBI agent and a Boston police officer shot the man when he refused to drop a military-style knife.
3. I know from experience that many people have a false sense of security that their will or living trust is all they need to avoid probate. However, I also know that this is often not true. Let me review your will or living trust for free and make sure that you are avoiding probate and doing everything you can to make things easy for your loved ones when you pass away. Call me, Attorney Tom Olson in Orlando.
This is News 96.5.
Hosted by the Governor Rick Scott. Neil Cavuto is going to be interviewing a lot of the presidential candidates. He's going to join us first. So as you know, Orlando is a very important part of our network, WDBO. Joe is listening on 96.5. Hey, Joe.
Yeah, I just think it's kind of amusing to compare security at the airport to like security at a courthouse. You know, the royalty that wear robes are very well protected as opposed at the airport are just kind of, you know.
You know what? I haven't paid the money, Joe, yet to get that.